Welcome to Quick Savant's Book Talk. Today's book is Alien Secrets and the Path to Ascension, UFO Powers, Methods, Identities, and Agendas by Scott Campbell. Available on Amazon and other fine book and audiobook sellers. Links to buy in the description. Our creators revealed in our DNA and 3 more alien topics. How we came about is now very clear from 2 distinct lines of scientific evidence. The answer to where we come from remained hidden in our DNA until discovered in 2013. In the compelling book Alien Secrets, The Path to Ascension by Scott Campbell, Section DNA explains the historical event of discovery and accompanying evidence. DNA, it turns out, is a masterpiece of intelligent biomathematical coding by an extremely advanced alien civilization, making all life on Earth of alien origin. The Exogenesis Theory, also known as the Directed Panspermia Theory, or simply the seed theory, became first popularized by Nobel Prize winner and co-discoverer of DNA Francis Crick. The theory further begs biological and evolutionary proof of alien super-microbes on Earth. It has it in our family of giant viruses, and our microbe history of evolution. At the same time as mitochondrial Eve, about 200,000 years ago, the single mother of all of us, the first Homo sapiens, boasted a robust increase in the size of skull and brain and a new, elongated shape. It proved itself to be about 150 cubic centimeters bigger than modern humans. Improved mitochondria for increased brain energy became part of the package. Perhaps aliens, the ultimate scientists, intervened. 3 other sections include a complete analysis of the Roswell incident, alien types, technological methods, likely agendas, and the influence of ancient aliens on major religions. Since day one, aliens have dominated life on Earth. Takiway, studying alien technology, consciousness, and skill sets will lead modern humans to a similar mastery and will not only help guarantee our survival as a species, but guide us into multiple and diverse levels of ascension. Sit back, get comfortable, and listen to your free audiobook sample.
Scott Campbell. The Rise of the Humanoids. UFOs, Powers, Methods, Identities, and Agendas. The Path to Ascension. Note from author Scott Campbell. Modern science, with its innovative technology, coupled with a close look at the Genome Project, informs us that our DNA proves to be genetically engineered by an advanced alien civilization. DNA applies mathematical principles to optimize performance and maintain its basic structure and function for billions of years. We have now unlocked its virtual codes. All life on Earth is an alien hybrid. Alien microbes, especially the giant viruses, played a huge role in our evolution. Whether intentional or not, the aliens have already presented us with clues on how to solve 2 of the most challenging problems we face. Both involve the mastery of quantum mechanics. Einstein could not figure out after 30 years of attempts, nor many of the top physicists for the last 100 years, how to come up with a workable theory for quantum gravity that meshes with the theory of general relativity, the so-called God equation. 1. The aliens did because they applied that knowledge to propel their ships by curving space-time around them. The aliens influence our consciousness and objects from a distance. Hints about their levels of prowess also came with the little grey ET clones found at the Roswell crash. The biological entities, rather than mere pilots, were part of the ship, a single unit of impressive technology. The key to fully understanding ourselves lies in understanding how non-local quantum effects in the neuron microtubes underlie consciousness. 2. The aliens seem to have mastered this as well. Understanding quantum mechanics and alien technology will help us ascend to levels comparable to the aliens at an accelerated pace. Perfect health, higher intelligence and empathy, and an extra helping of longevity will all be within reach of science and medicine. Free, or at least very cheap and high-powered energy, and also extremely disruptive to a fossil fuel planet, is a given, barring a squash by big oil. Preface. We thank the U.S. Navy for releasing authentic data on several observed spacecraft, now termed UAP for unidentified aerial phenomena. The Navy captured the data, which shows how the UAP executed their astounding speeds and navigation, leading to a general theory of how UAP moved. The videos come with chain of custody authentication, meaning they show originality free from any form of tampering. Einstein would stand proud because the aliens use a principle based on geodesics that he described at length in his published papers on general relativity. Aliens have dominated life on Earth since day one. Life on Earth arose from genetically engineered coding in alien microbes. 3. In addition to their spacecraft's astounding and mind-boggling motion, aliens have other surprising skill sets as the ultimate scientists. Aliens are experts at cloning. The Roswell pilots were genetically engineered clones for inhabiting and piloting spacecraft. 4. They can erase selected memories in humans, install implants, communicate telepathically, shut down or manipulate electronic systems like missiles, temporarily paralyze, beam people or objects into their ships, and control space-time through the mastery of physics at the quantum level. They likely apply quantum AI and quantum computers to achieve some of their technological prowess. Based on ancient history and myths, aliens influenced our first civilizations and ours now, as well as everything in between. They were perceived as gods, which led to the Abrahamic religions that replaced ruling councils of aliens with concepts of a monotheistic god. 5. Some aliens have expanding hybridization programs based on mass abductions. 6. Some aliens have shown hostility regarding our proliferation of nuclear weapons and space exploration, particularly the Moon. 7. The technology extracted from the crash at Roswell and other crashes was behind our revolution centered on Silicon Valley. Alien mastery of quantum consciousness and cloning could lead to various new forms of being or afterlives. Some aliens plot to infiltrate our populations with disguised superiority. Takeaway: studying alien technology, consciousness and skill sets will lead modern humans to a similar mastery, and will not only help guarantee our survival as a species, but guide us into multiple levels of ascension. The Grand Cover-Up. For national security, maintaining the status quo and expanding global power and profits for large corporations, the United States government decided long ago with the first retrieved alien craft not to share what they knew. After seeing the Roswell crash reported on the front page of a local newspaper from New Mexico, USSR Stalin sent an army of agents to spy on us. 8. They would work to assist communists here in creating our CIA and infiltrating it. 9. 10. To help shut out Stalin and keep the treasure for themselves. Our government's official position on UFOs and aliens soon became one of denial and disinformation. What UFOs? What aliens? The crash at Roswell was not a UFO but a balloon, and the bodies retrieved were not 4-foot-tall gray alien clones with oversized heads and eyes and skinny appendages but test dummies, chimpanzees, or Japanese spies. Case closed. The Cold War, and the technological prowess and huge profits to be reaped from Roswell overshadowed officially informing the public about the greatest discovery in Earth's history. Instead, we settled for B-rate movies about aliens and UFOs, until we finally welcomed the classic Close Encounters of the Third Kind based on real-life encounters. Ufologist and astronomer J. Allen Hynek consulted for the film. 11-12. We had entered a cat-and-mouse game with the Soviets since 1947, with the secrets of aliens and their craft and powers as the mouse to be captured, that never ended. In this book and the day after Roswell, heroic Lieutenant Colonel Corso details how his every move to help the timely dissemination of certain alien artifacts and technologies to American industry found itself shadowed by the CIA and KGB. The CIA and the Air Force just happened to be formed within 3 months after the Roswell crash in early July 1947. 13. Corso once walked into the office of the Soviet communist sympathizer in our military, whom he was sure was behind ordering the spying, and laid down a .45 pistol on his desk. Corso intimated that the next person who followed him might have his eyes shot out. In addition to a Cold War with the Soviets over UFOs and aliens, our military experienced an internal Cold War between its departments concerning who would get the most goodies and hence benefits from Roswell. The secrets of Roswell were about technology, weapons, global power, and trillions in future profits. The American people were lied to and continuously disinformed, often with most insulting explanations. It was a weather balloon or swamp gas or reflections of light off of geese undersides. Were not to ask questions but only to acknowledge the derived products like lasers, integrated circuits, transistors, fiber optics, particle beam weapons, and small and powerful personal computers and cell phones. We eagerly chose to participate in new, robust and earth-shaking tech industries which arose from Roswell artifacts. Washington, D.C. found the setting for a flyby by UFOs in 1952. Photographs from multiple perspectives, hundreds of witnesses and numerous radar reports confirmed it, but the government dismissed it as reflections. The purpose of Project Blue Book was to reassure the public that they had a system for reporting what they witnessed, and to distract them from the Roswell crash. Grudge and Sign were classified projects with a greater level of secrecy, to enable the military to evaluate sightings and encounter reports that could not be explained away as balloons, geese, or the planet Venus. Blue Fly and Twinkle, along with a slew of other camouflage programs such as Horizon, HARP, Rainbow and even the Space Defense Initiative, all had to do with extraterrestrial technology. However, few stood aware of it. Smart people saw the Roswell crash and the increasing number of sightings and legitimate abduction cases through the government's cover-up efforts. They realized that we were not alone, if they didn't know already. Alien craft hovered above New Mexico area nuclear missile production and testing sites, power plants and naval ships, like insects to light at night. Good news and bad news. Let's get through the bad news first. The government intentionally misled the public about aliens and UFOs for at least 9 decades, and likely continues to censor key information. For those of us who were not smart and deductive, the answer to one of the most important questions for Earthlings about possible galactic company lay buried in government bureaucracy. It turns out that the other question most frequently asked by Earthlings is, where did we come from? The truth may again hide among alien secrets. Science is telling us that somebody or something genetically engineered our DNA over 3.5 billion years ago. In section DNA, we will explore the mind-boggling and exciting evidence in detail. The good news: the United States successfully kept most of the alien technology and insight from Roswell and other crashes out of the hands of the Communist Soviets and Germans. The Pentagon UFO films are selected visual recordings of cockpit instrumentation displays from U.S. Navy fighter planes deployed aboard aircraft carriers, USS Nimitz, and USS Theodore Roosevelt in 2004, 2014, and 2015, and additional material captured by other Navy personnel in 2019. 14. Figure 1: USS Roosevelt crew members. Since 2017, the 4 monochrome films scooped up considerable attention, as they officially captured UFOs on vetted media. In 2020, the Pentagon addressed and publicly published the first 3 films, and in 2021 the Pentagon verified the origin of the leaked 2019 footage. 15. Commander David Fravor examined radar signals of a potential target off the coast of Southern California on November 14, 2004. 16. The USS Princeton CG-59, which was part of the strike group, had been monitoring strange aircraft for 2 weeks previous to the event, according to Fravor. Astounded, Fravor reported seeing a white oval-shaped object floating over an ocean water disturbance, a possible mothership, the famous Tic Tac UAP, which he assessed to be about 40 feet in length. According to Fravor and another pilot, Alex Dietrich, 4 individuals, the 2 pilots and 2 weapons systems officers in the rear seats of the 2 aircraft, saw the object for 5 minutes. According to Fravor, when he spiraled down to get closer, the object rose following his plane's course until it quickly vanished at unbelievable speed. 17. Figure 2: USS Nimitz. Not only did the United States Navy and other militaries around the world release official sighting evidence starting in the second decade of the 21st century, but they also provided such detail from video, infrared video, radar, and sonar data from multiple perspectives and operator narration that physicists have come up with a theory on how alien craft execute their most astounding motions. Parts of this theorized technology and methods can be extrapolated into explaining some of their other powers, like beaming people and other objects into their ships, shutting down electronic systems from a distance, like nuclear missiles, and erasing human memory. Let's go back to 2017, at which time somewhat of a milestone occurred in getting some official information about UFOs from the United States government. December 2017, the Pentagon and the New York Times seem to want to kiss and make up with UFO enthusiasts for misleading them for decades. The New York Times published 2 bombshell articles on UFOs, the main one entitled Glowing Auras and Black Money, the Pentagon's Mysterious UFO Program. From 2007 through 2012, the Pentagon spent millions of taxpayer dollars, $22 million, investigating UFOs as they continued to tell the public they had no evidence that UFOs were real. The program continued after 2012 secretly in Barack Hussein Obama's second term. The official program had an impressive name, Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification of AATI. Luis Elizondo, who at least understands the public's thirst for information about UFOs, and comes across as a believer himself, headed up the program as a career intelligence officer. The government began calling UFOs threats. Hoaxes are not threats, and neither are weather balloons, so the government had revealed the seriousness of the subjects of their investigations. Politico soon claimed that Elizondo, keeping his non-disclosure agreement in mind, nevertheless admitted that Navy pilots witnessed dozens of unexplained sightings. The threats showed astounding maneuvers and speeds way beyond any known aircraft. Ships at sea, nuclear facilities and power plants were among common sighting locations. Although such sightings have been reported, including reports by military personnel worldwide since World War II, Elizondo quipped that they had never witnessed anything quite like it. Bigelow Aerospace earned a contract to examine materials that came from UFOs. Some of the materials were rumored to have few similarities to any on Earth. One is purported to be a memory metal, capable of remembering its original shape after being folded without being heated like nitinol, a modern alloy of titanium and nickel. A remarkably similar material occurred at Roswell in 1947. Alien spacecraft may change size and shape during changes in direction or speed, and memory metals become quite useful for restoring original dimensions. Of all of the pages in the 154-page report, these materials found and under examination, if real, are sufficient evidence that aliens visited Earth, especially if they are composed of elements not found on our periodic table. Some appear to be forms of isotopes not found on Earth. One investigator for Bigelow Aerospace stated publicly in a video that he would like to start utilizing such materials in various applications. According to Popular Mechanics, Eric Davis, an astrophysicist, consulted with the original UFO program from the Pentagon and informed a Department of Defense agency regarding off-world vehicles and materials that earthly scientists could not fabricate. 18. Some people claim they suffered health problems after encountering a UFO, and the government admitted to studying them but fell short of revealing their findings. What is still blasted all over the internet is the footage of the November 2004 encounter of UFOs by the USS Princeton within 100 miles of San Diego. Pilot David Fravor, the most quoted witness in the media, concluded that the craft was not of this world. To have the Navy admit that they saw this, much less show footage of it, is indeed promising progress. Congress did pass a bill saying that the Pentagon was to come clean about what it knows about UFOs. The government said more information is to be disseminated by June 25, 2021. Other videos show UFOs submerging themselves in the ocean. The government said it had no proof that the UFOs were alien but couldn't rule it out. An explicit order tucked away in the Senate Intelligence Committee's Intelligence Authorization Act for fiscal year 2021 found itself part of the $2.3 trillion COVID relief bill passed in December of 2020. It states that the Pentagon must disclose what it has found regarding UAP so far by the end of June 2021. It didn't happen as the public wanted. Section: Agendas and Identities. Agendas. Given the evidence that aliens increase their presence on Earth, we must address what they want and their identity. These questions become two of the most important to ponder because aliens, like it or not, either by their actions or by our reactions to them, establish themselves as a major evolutionary force on ancient, pre-modern and modern Earth. Extensive research on the most realistic alien encounters to support current theories is now available. Accounts of UFOs that include physical or electronic evidence, multiple witnesses and government records that have been declassified offer the best raw data to validate spacecraft's existence. Cases of alien contact, including abductions, seem to be intentionally muddled by the aliens from the start. The abductees usually experience trauma, their bodies often become paralyzed, and their memories are selectively erased to the point where hypnotic regression becomes the best and only way to get at what happened. Wholly overmatched is how some describe the human-alien interaction, in which the aliens display capabilities for cognitive management, the powers of their amazing technology, and vastly superior intellect. Controlling our emotions seems straightforward for them. They reign as the ultimate experts at stealth. Selectively impairing or erasing abductees' memories does not facilitate easy and fluid recall of the event. Why would the aliens want to hide what they are doing to humans? Abductees who would prefer to forget the incident altogether or label it as a dream, or a result of their imagination, do not help find the truth through investigation either. Although the total amount of information doctors and therapists glean from encounters shows anticipated variation, as it should, an undeniably broad similarity and consistency in abductions revealed itself. We net out and sift through vital details about the nature of aliens, their actions concerning humans, their abilities and their craft, and their agendas. Reported cases number well into the thousands, and millions of people may have been abducted so far. Refuting the presence of alien craft on Earth is much more difficult now, with released military videos of UFOs demonstrating unheard-of maneuvers that scream aliens. Either the craft represents aliens or alien technology that has been reversed engineered. Either way, it is evidence of an alien presence. The aliens demonstrate they understand and apply a complete quantum theory of the universe, which so far has stumped humans, rendering preposterous the notion that the craft represents sources of black box operations or Chinese or Russian technology. We can focus on human-alien interaction cases that clothe themselves with validity and rich amounts of information to formulate agendas and describe alien populations. The presence and influence of aliens cannot be fully understood without considering our current trajectory as a species. Understanding the aliens means understanding ourselves. Mainstream media's altitude regarding UFOs progressed since the release of military tracking, starting in 2017. Talking and writing about UFOs gained a new air of respectability. Were we enhanced? Truth to any ancient alien hypothesis would have a great bearing on agendas. See section DNA, which presents biological, evolutionary and mathematical evidence that life started on Earth from alien genetically engineered DNA. Dr. Colleen Clements, a former professor at the Rochester Institute of Technology and the University of Rochester, authored 2 books regarding ET ancient visitation and that humans are hybrids with aliens. 19. She thinks the main enhancement in our evolution occurred some 40,000 years ago. She cites both mythological and genetic evidence. Although disputed by other scientists, Clements argued that our microcephalin gene is crucial to larger brain size than the rest of our primate friends. The allele originated during a likely span of 14,000 to 60,000 years ago in Central Eurasia. The Denisovans, also from Central Asia, serve as another candidate. Denisovans mated with Homo sapiens but did not go overboard. However, the D allele was not found in Denisovans either. As recorded through artwork, the D allele may have triggered an explosion in human invention and creativity by enhancing brain development. Not everyone today has the D allele. As you go farther from North Central Asia, you see less of it. The first sky god myths or skydiver myths appeared around the same time as the D allele, and in the same area, North Central Asia. Theory: the sky gods were aliens and bestowed higher intelligence upon the early humans at that time. Similar myths spread from that same location around the world. Old texts speak of an extraplanetary species called the Bene Ha Elohim, Anunnaki Watcher, or one of many other names. Monitored or controlled. Aliens may have handed one-way tickets to early humans to join them in off-planet excursions and civilizations. This would follow logically after modifications. Records of ancient UFO sightings prove to be rare, and few depict details of the appearance of the technology. Instead of metallic sources or cigar-shaped craft, we get accounts of misbehaving fireballs. Fireballs serve as an apt description for UAP because they emit light, sometimes bright, as part of the distortion fields that embed them from their modulation of space-time near their craft. Accelerating UAP prove to be lit-up shapeshifters rather than confined to rigid cigars or saucers. A long-term alien presence is more likely than not, even if it remained covert most of the time, until Sumeria reported them as a ruling council. Australia's Aboriginals depicted tall whitish skydiver gods, wearing robes in cave paintings rather than little grey aliens with big heads and eyes. Aboriginals never wore robes and were never white. Diminutive greys seem absent in history until World War II, and after becoming one of the most common encounters. Contact not logical. Ancient people lacked the intellect to comprehend the true nature of alien visitation fully. There would be no great benefit of aliens making attempts at extensive communication or education, and seeing little for them to gain in trying to do so. Modern times are a different story. Humanity's revolution. Hunting and gathering were the only two occupational choices for us for 290,000 years as Homo sapiens, what Richard Dolan labels as Stage 1 existence in the alien agendas. 10,000 years ago, we started to farm and domesticate plants and animals. Stage 2 arose from an agricultural revolution that allowed larger populations to take root alongside their crops and stay in one area. We netted larger populations to underlay towns and cities, new organizational methods and innovative tools to benefit humankind. Irrigation. Writing. Use of the wheel. Metallurgy. Stability. Division of labor. Domestication of plants and animals. A flourishing of the arts. The unit worker, who could thrive in a variety of cultures in a variety of locations. Stage 3. Based upon the 17th century scientific revolution spearheaded by Leibniz, Newton and Descartes, and embedded in the hypothesis test theory protocol. Industrialization, the application of mechanization to create services and goods rather than raw muscle. Although some of it may have been derived from alien technology, for example, from Roswell, the scientific method sped up a series of key inventions, all the way up to computers, Wi-Fi, satellites and nuclear power and nuclear weapons. Increased UFO sightings starting in the 1750s, coinciding with the Industrial Revolution, accelerating in the mid-1940s after nuclear explosions and continuing through today, facilitated first by radar, then by infrared cameras and now by 3D radar and sonar. Fourth stage. This is Dolan's transhumanist stage, to be described in detail later. One final question about our potential ancient origins. Aliens may have tweaked our DNA and fashioned a non-biological command structure, an artificial intelligence structure akin to a living machine, to account for the consistent influence of the human populations. Such a non-biological entity would follow directives. Such a system would prevent changes that would put the AI at risk, control any threats it could not prevent, emphasize stability rather than rapid advancement. Alien humanoids. What are our sources? From perusing unclassified government documents worldwide, we can conclude that advanced forms of science and technology exist that are not supposed to exist. There is no evidence of human development of super aircraft capable of UFO-type maneuvers. Little is mentioned in the documents about the nature of craft occupants. Witness testimony about UFO crashes and retrieval is such a large body of evidence with such quality and quantity that it is hard to think that aliens do not exist. Although many people report encounters or CE contact experiences, the evidence varies widely in reliability, validity, and quality. The Free Study. Edgar Mitchell, the well-known and outspoken astronaut who explicitly stated that he believes aliens exist, is the impetus behind his foundation for research into extraterrestrial and extraordinary experiences, or FREE. Thousands of experiences reported contributing to the study, performed through unfiltered online questionnaires. Despite the possibilities of some bogus reports, the overall results hold solid value. 20. Edgar Mitchell Foundation Study 1 Small Gray 67%, 2 Aliens or Non-Human Intelligence NHI 64%, 3 Energy Beings 55%, 4 Spirit Forms 50%, 4 Tall Gray 47%, and 5 Hybrids 40%. 21-22. According to the Free Study, only 15% of the contact experience respondents, including all types of experiences beyond abductions, had an overall negative emotional experience. 23% registered their experience as neutral, and 62% said it was positive. For out-the-body experiences, the positive evaluation went up to 71%. Many aliens were perceived to have humanoid forms. He conjectures that our physical forms are logical and evolutionarily advantageous, and where conditions are similar in the universe, one might think that human-looking beings might evolve by chance. Half of the sightings were of aliens that looked very human. How would that happen? Perhaps Earthlings were monitored, enhanced, and transported to other planets to form hybrids. This could have happened from 60,000 years ago to a few thousand years ago, or even more recently. We can assume such hybrids would boast telepathy, enhanced control over consciousness, better mental abilities, better health overall, and longer lifespans. Avatars and hybrids. Some humans could be infused with alien consciousness, making them undetectable avatars. A well-known abduction researcher, Dr. David Jacobs, proposed a hybrid theory. Insectile and aliens led gray alien teams to create an alien-human hybrid, identical to a normal human in looks, but boasted keen telepathy and mind control abilities. These entities integrated into society in the last century or so. He claims they plot nothing less than a systematic infiltration of humanoids in the Great Change, and have experienced doing so on other planets. A powerful and open presence eventually becomes integral to the plan. Copyright 2021 Scott Campbell, all rights reserved. Greys. Large heads, skinny bodies, appendages, oversized eyes slightly slanted upward toward the exterior, wrap around to infringe upon the side of the face, all characterize the greys. The tiny greys earned their spot, as most people think of when aliens come up as a topic. Ears, nose and mouth prove to be extremely small or non-existent. When you assemble the tall and short grass, they slightly outnumber human-looking aliens in reported sightings. Both groups together, as we have discussed, make up the vast majority of alien encounters. To no one's surprise, gray appearances vary by the shape and size of their heads and the exact color of their skin, from dark gray to white to brown, to even beige with a pinkish overtone. Some have 3 fingers, some 4. Even the eyes can vary in shape and color, but most are pitch black. The eyes of the tall greys find themselves described by humans as arresting or hypnotic, representing potent powers of telepathy and emotional projection and reading. The talls prove to be extremely thin. No human ever witnessed greys eating. Greys are believed to absorb nutrients through their skin and their suits. Greys earned a reputation as speed demons but did not run as we do. They glide. Leaping over fences or other barriers is nothing for them. Physical prowess through technology is suspected, and so is telepathy and mind control. They are said to control emotions and behavior in humans, helpful in the abduction projects. Selectively erasing memory masks their agenda. This would be accomplished most efficiently with applied technology, based on quantum and electromagnetic elements of consciousness. Little greys seem constrained to neutrality in gender. These little worker beings, or gray minions, stand accused of being genetically engineered. Tall greys show male or female gender not via genitalia but through projection. Emotionally empathetic and caring are female stereotypes. Males seem more aloof, observant, serious and scientific. No human ever claimed to see greys mating. Minion greys act as pilots, groups of abductors, and micromanaging humans. They are employed by cells that seem better at communication with humans and perform more serious surgery. Clothing. Skin-tight jumpsuits which appear spun on rather than put on is one choice. Nothing at all serves as the alternative. The crafted interior often fits consensus descriptions with mysteriously diffused lighting and metallic, smooth and curved walls. A control room is common with viewing screens, panels and benches attached to walls.